my plastic juggling accoutrements out there. Nice try.
Oh.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Oh, yeah. Well, speaking of frustrations, I don't know. I'm just having kind of a rough day.
Oh, well, what'd I do?
Oh, babe, it wasn't you. It's just this quarantine and staying inside. I don't know. I'm just in a really bad mood. I'm just bumming pretty hard.
You want to talk about it?
Are you sure?
Yeah, girl, you let it out. I'm here for you. Come on now. Yeah, you know what? You let it out. I am here to listen. You just vent.
Thanks, babe.
Yep.
Well, we've been quarantined now for over a month. I mean, it's just getting harder and harder, and I try not to let it get to me.
Yeah, I guess it is hard to stay inside all the time, but I mean, she is spending more time with me, and I'm a pretty cool guy, so not sure why she's this upset. Oh, she's still talking. Nod your head in agreement. Be reassuring. Yep, she's talking about something, I think. What is she even saying? Her lips are still moving, but I'm not really sure what she's talking about. Sounds like she's bummed school has been closed, I guess. Oh, yep, she said something else, yep. Books, huh? I wonder if I should buy her a book on Amazon. Amazon. I wonder what they're gonna do with their new Lord of the Rings miniseries I keep hearing about. It probably won't be as good as the movies, of course.
Sometimes it feels like you don't really even listen to me. And,
That's hilarious.
Aaron.
I mean, I can't believe he or she said or did that to you. That is awful. Man.
Gentleness.
That make me mad.
Forgiveness.
Huh?
I know this kind of thing is really hard for you, and I really appreciate you trying. I mean, I know you meant well, Aaron. At least, hey, you gave me a chance to let it out and talk, and I did need that, so thanks. You know what? I really am gonna be okay. It's really fine. Sometimes it just, gets kind of sad. But, Aaron.
Huh?
Hey, I'm gonna, we have a craft team this week. And
oh, nice.
You know I love craft team, so I'm gonna go get the supplies ready and do that. Thanks again for trying.
Uh-huh.
Huh. She said thanks for trying. Trying. See, I thought I was succeeding. Maybe she's still bummed out. Is that even possible? Maybe I should do something to cheer her up. Like a surprise of some kind. Maybe I could let her play with some of my Lord of the Rings action figures? That'd be super nice of me. Maybe I should write her a letter. Is that really the best idea, though? Maybe I should ask some other people for some ideas.
That's a great idea.
Did you need something, Aaron?
No, it's a surprise. I mean, I'm going to go be in the bathroom for 2 hours. Don't worry.
Okay, wash your hands.
Off to my thinking spot.
I do my best thinking that
Alright, while Aaron's off somewhere being Aaron, I thought I would get started with our special team for this week. Now this month, the big idea for special teams is that anyone can be saved by Jesus. And that is such a great comfort to me in times like this. I have good days and I have bad days in this quarantine, but through it all, I know that I have ultimate hope and joy in Jesus. In a sermon a couple weeks ago, Pastor Brian said that nothing can separate us from the love that is in Christ Jesus. And when I get into bad moods and I get a little bit sad thinking about all the things that I'm missing out on during this time, I am reminded that I have the love of Jesus. I remember that I am saved by Jesus, and my problem with sin has been solved. In that case, even though it's okay to feel sad sometimes and to grieve and to miss things, ultimately, I have overall hope and joy in Jesus. And one thing that gives me joy is doing crafts. So I thought I would do a cool craft today. We're actually going to make some homemade Play-Doh that you can make at home. In your parents' email, I've given a website with instructions for how to do this, but let's see if I can do it as well. For this, you will need a few ingredients. You will need flour, salt, cream of tartar, water, food coloring, and oil. First, it says to mix the dry ingredients. So I'm going to put a cup of flour and a half a cup of salt and 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. And you're just going to mix it up. All right, we have our dry ingredients. Let's go get our wet ingredients. All right, for our wet ingredients, we need a cup of water, 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil or olive oil, and some food coloring. On the website, it said a good trick to make sure your hands don't get dirty is to add the food coloring in with the water. I had 4 different types of food coloring. I had one that looked like this, one like this, one that was in a tube, and one in a little bottle, and they said any of those would work. I think I'm gonna do this one, neon pink. Okay, let's give it a little mix. And then we're gonna add that to a pot on the stove. So there's the cup of water and food coloring. 2 tablespoons of oil. And our dry ingredients. Okay, I'm gonna turn it on to medium-low, and we're going to cook until it forms into a ball. All right, and just after a few minutes, it's now formed into a ball. I'm going to turn off the stove and move it back to my cutting board. Okay, you're gonna dump it out, and then we need to let it cool. All right, after it's cool, the next step is to knead it for about 5 minutes. Now, I've already been kneading mine for a little while, and I noticed that when I first started, it felt pretty gritty, and now that I've been kneading it for a while, it's feeling pretty smooth. Maybe you can even split it up and knead it in just sections. All right, now, Play-Doh's a really fun toy, and I don't know what you like to do with Play-Doh, but I usually like to take a section and pat it down flat and use cookie cutters to cut out shapes. So I have some springtime ones here. I have a rabbit and a butterfly and a flower, and you can press it down and make a certain shape. Like there is a flower that I just made. And when you're done, you can crumble it up and make a new shape. Like now I could make a butterfly, or I could make a ball, or I could make a snake. Now think, when we see how this dough can transform into all sorts of different shapes, that can remind us about how our lives have been transformed by Christ. Anyone can be saved by Jesus. I know that when I was saved by Jesus and when I recognized my need for the Savior, that my life was completely changed. No longer did I want to live for myself, but I wanted to live for Jesus. There is no one who is too far gone, who is too sinful, or is too far away from God's love. Anyone can be saved by Jesus. Anyone's life can be transformed by Jesus. I hope you have fun making this craft this week. If you end up making it, send me some pictures of what you do. I'd love to see them.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Bible Literacy. So our question for this week is, why does the Bible command us to love other Christians? And our answer is, the Bible tells us to love other Christians because God is love. So one more time, why does the Bible command us to love other Christians? The Bible commands us to love other Christians because God is love. So parents, a fun way you guys can help them remember their question and answer is to play a game called Statues. So you parents are going to call out a type of animal. You can close your eyes, count to 5, and when you open your eyes, your kiddo has to look like that animal, whatever animal it happens to be, and then you'll ask them that question, and they'll answer you back, kind of like this.
What about flamingo? Why does the Bible command us to love other Christians?
The Bible commands us to love other Christians because God is love. Beautiful. And you can get creative with your different animals, parents. Okay, our Bible memory work for this week is 1 1st and 2nd John. So go ahead. The first one is love and friendship with God. So love and friendship, and then you'll point up at God. The second part is love and friendship with others. So you'll point to others. And then 2nd John is to follow God's commands. So you're going to march in place, follow God's commands. And the second one is to reject false teachers. So put up your hand like this, like stop. Reject false teachers. And parents, once again, a great way you can help them remember their Bible memory work is to do it in those different voices. So fast, slow, high, low. This week, I want you guys to practice it in a pirate voice, ye mateys. Okay, everyone, it is Acts prayer time. So remember, you will have your Acts prayer sheet at home. So after we're done praying together, I want you to go through this, either just yourself or you can grab maybe a parent or a sibling so you guys can go through this, write down your ideas, and pray together. Let's go ahead. Today we're going to be praying about God's faithfulness. So let's go ahead and bow our heads and pray together. Dear Lord, I thank you that you are always faithful. I confess that I don't always believe you're faithful. I doubt a lot of the time, and I ask forgiveness for that. I pray that you show me you're faithful through the word. You constantly show me that you do follow through with your promises, and I pray that you'll change my heart so that if I'm ever doubting you, I immediately run to you and run to your word. And I say these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay. I'll call him first.
Hello?
Hey, Joseph, Aaron here.
Hi, Aaron.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Krista's been pretty bummed out lately, and I want to try and cheer her up, so I was thinking about writing her an epic letter. Thought that would be super awesome. What do you think about that?
Got any other ideas?
Oh, well, Joseph, I know you're only 14, but I think girls do like it when you say nice and sweet things about them.
Well, first of all, who's calling whom for advice? And secondly, I've never found that to be true. Girls never want mushy cards. All they want to do is to laugh. I'm pretty good at pulling pranks and such, and girls laugh at me all the time.
I'm listening.
Well, they say laughter is the best medicine, so no offense, I know you're pretty bad at telling jokes. I'm thinking the next best thing would be to pull a prank on her, and those are pretty much the best way to get someone to laugh if you can't tell jokes. Perfect one. Water hose.
Oh, I'm picking up what you're laying down. Hey, before I let you go though, what are your thoughts on Amazon producing the new Lord of the Rings miniseries?
Yeah, I got lots of thoughts. You might want to have this conversation in person because it's going to be a long one. I got tons of thoughts.
True dat. Okay, bye, Joseph.
Bye.
Okay, that was helpful. Let me see if Tierney's home. Hope she's in a good mood.
Aaron, you've got 30 seconds. What's up?
Yeah, hey, Tierney. Sorry to bother you, but here's the thing. Krista's in a kind of a bummer mood, and so I was looking for ways to cheer her up. You got any ideas for me?
I see. Well, food is a universal love language. So, what's your favorite food?
Yes, food is the love language. That would be pizza.
Okay. Well, don't order it with cheese because, cheese is really gross.
No cheese. Got it. That's a good idea. Thanks for covering me on that one. Any other ideas?
Okay, 28, 29, 30.
Hello? She just hung up on me. Okay, let me try another friend.
Hickory dickory dock, the mouse went up the clock.
Hello, Gabriel? You there?
Uh-huh.
Well, why didn't you say hello?
'Cause my mother always told me not to talk with food in my mouth.
Okay. Well, here's why I called.
Oh, no. Joseph already told me.
Oh, he did? About trying to cheer up Krista and everything?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, okay. Well, see, Joseph said I should prank her, make her laugh. Tierney recommended I get her a no-cheese pizza. What are your recommendations?
Well, I've been learning a lot of sweet dance moves and have been posting videos of them online. And people really seem to be liking them. I've got a lot of followers now.
Really?
Yeah, I'm up to double digits in followers now.
Okay, so you think I should dance for her?
Oh yeah, people love dancing. I can show you how to do some dance moves if you want.
That'd be great. Could you send me one of your dance videos? Probably your best one, I'd say.
No, you should just follow me on the dance website.
Follow you? Well, you see, the thing is my phone is broken, so can't do that.
Alright, so email you then?
No, just text it to me.
Alright, cool. Wait a second.
Gotta go. Okay, dancing. That's gonna be great. Let me call my oldest friend. He always has such sage advice.
Hello, this is Tammy's husband.
Hey, Mr. McKeever, Aaron here.
Is this about you trying to make Krista happy?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Yeah, Joseph told me.
He did, huh? Wow, he told Gabriel as well. I guess he really does have a lot of friends. Anyways, do you have any ideas about how I can maybe cheer Krista up?
I'll tell you what, Aaron. I've been married over 45 years, and whenever Tammy is upset, I try all sorts of stuff that never seems to work. Usually she ends up just telling me, "Would you just leave me alone, Bill?" And then she gives me the look. That look she gives kids in the grocery store when they are misbehaving. Kind of scary. Then she does the same to Jamin. So we've learned. Just give her some space.
Gee whiz, Mr. McKeever, that really is great advice. And coming from my oldest friend, that really means a lot.
Your oldest friend? You know, Aaron, has anyone ever told you that you're a bit much sometimes?
Yeah. Krista, in fact, said that earlier today.
Yeah, give that poor girl some space, Aaron.
I would love to give her space. Do you think I could maybe come over to your house?
No, Aaron, I'm afraid that's not possible. Social distancing and all. I'm pretty sure that means you're never allowed to come over here again.
All right, hey, thanks, Mr. McKeever. I sure do appreciate your time. It's super valuable seeing how you don't have much left and all. Okay, bye. All right, let's try Pastor Rob. Wait, he's probably hunting chupacabras in the middle of nowhere where there's no cell phone coverage, so I might not call him. Pastor Stephen? Last time I called, he was still crying about that mug he said he forgave me of. I don't want to deal with that. Pastor Brad, wait. No. Today is head waxing day. Don't bother me on head waxing day, Aaron. I've told you 5 times. Okay, fine, I won't call Brad.
Aaron, are you still in there?
Ready or not, here I come.
Hey, you alright?
Yep, just been in my thinking spot.
Oh, gross, Aaron. Well, hey, I'm ready to film the Sunday school video. You know I was pretty bummed out earlier, but I've just been focusing on being grateful for what God's done for me, and it's really been helping. But thanks for listening to me earlier. You know, I really appreciate that. You ready to film?
Got a surprise for you.
What?
Follow me. Okay, you sit here.
Okay.
Okay, here's the thing. I know earlier you were saying you were having kind of a bummer day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at least I remember most of what you're saying, and since I'm a really, really good husband, I wanted to cheer you up, and so I thought, well, maybe I can write you a letter, you know, with a nice poem, and it'd be really romantic, and you love it, but then I wasn't sure if you'd like it, and so I figured maybe I'll call some of my friends and see what ideas they had, and then so I did. I was calling some friends that got some really good ideas, but then you knocked on the door, and so I wasn't sure which one to do, so I decided to do all of them. So, first letter from me to you. You read that. I'm gonna go get the other surprises ready.
Okay.
done reading that letter?
Yeah, that was really nice, Aaron. I mean, the word search was a little confusing, but the letter was so nice. I mean, that word search just said Aaron a bunch of times over and over.
It also said Ron and Nora spelled backwards with 2 A's.
Oh.
Yeah, hey, you ready for surprise number 2?
Sure. Oh, Aaron! Aaron, what is...
Prank! I'm feeling better already.
Oh, well, I think we are done.
That's for me.
What? What is happening? Oh.
Okay. I know how much you love pizza, right?
I do love pizza.
So, pizza and food are love languages. So check out this Supreme Pizza.
Oh, wow.
That one's for me.
Oh.
This one's for you. All the kids these days are saying cheese is gross. So, cheese pizza, no cheese.
Oh.
Here, you enjoy this while I show you surprise number 3. You ready?
Okay, yeah, sure. Oh. Oh. Oh, I see you're one of Gabriel's 13 followers.
Not yet.
Oh, well, Aaron, this is really nice. Are those all the surprises?
Nope. I'm worn out. There is one more, and I'm gonna actually give that to you right now. I'm gonna take this Play-Doh I just found. I'm gonna leave you alone for a while, because that's what people like to do when they're sad, be left alone.
What, Aaron?
Huh?
Aaron, you know what, babe? Some alone time sounds really nice, but later, yes?
That's fair.
Thank you. Some of those surprises were really nice. I mean, that letter was it was really touching. I really appreciate you.
From the heart.
Hey, before you give me alone time and play with Play-Doh wherever you're going, we have the Sunday school lesson to do, and I really think you're going to like it. Do you want to maybe look at that lesson with me right now?
Yeah, okay. Okay, but then we play with Play-Doh later?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
All right, in the month of April, we are looking at the fruit of the Spirit of gentleness. We've seen how God is gentle. We've seen how we are also called to be gentle to one another, speaking to one another gently, forgiving one another, treating each other gently.
I treated you really gently with that prank earlier. I could have sprayed you in the face with that water a lot harder, but I resisted because I'm a gentle person.
And I'm not sure that's the best example. I really didn't like being sprayed by water.
Well, it wasn't my idea. It was one of my friend's ideas when I was asking for advice, so...
Well, that brings up a really good point. There's a lot of people in our lives who influence us. We have our family members, our friends, our teachers, our pastors, people on TV. There's all sorts of people in the world who try to influence us. Now, some of those people are great, and they're trying to influence us toward God and toward growing in Him. But other people influence us away from God. So we need to be careful. Who are we listening to? Who are we allowing to influence us? Are we listening to people who are godly, who are pointing us toward God and helping us grow in Him? Or are we listening to people who are pointing us away from God? Some of those people you listened to, Aaron, had some really interesting and possibly good ideas. Yeah. And some of them, I'm not sure if they gave you the best advice, because some of those things cheered me up and some of them didn't. Now, our Bible story today has a person who followed some pretty bad advice. Today we're going to look in 1 Kings chapter 12 at King Rehoboam. Now, back in the Old Testament, there was the kingdom of Israel, the nation of Israel, and they wanted a king. They asked God for a king. God raised up King Saul, and then eventually raised up King David, and then David's son Solomon. And when Solomon was king, he stopped following God, and God gave him a consequence. In 1 Kings chapter 11, because Solomon had stopped following God, God told Solomon that he was going to take the kingdom away from his family. So when Solomon's son Rehoboam became king, we see how God fulfills that promise. We're going to look in 1 Kings chapter 12. We have Rehoboam, that's Solomon's son, and he is about to become king over Israel. And we have another guy named Jeroboam. Now, Jeroboam was one of Solomon's servants, and Jeroboam was in charge of some workers. When Solomon was king, Solomon did not treat those workers very gently. He treated them pretty harshly. And Jeroboam's going to come before Rehoboam, and he's going to see, is Rehoboam going to be harsh like his father Solomon, or is he going to turn from those wicked, evil ways, and is he going to be gentle? Let's look in 1 Kings chapter 12. It says, Jeroboam and all the assembly of Israel came and said to Rehoboam, your father made our yoke heavy. Now therefore lighten the hard service of your father and his heavy yoke on us, and we will serve you. He said to them, go away for 3 days and then come again to me. So the people went away.
Okay, so if I'm following you right, Solomon was not very nice to the people, and so Rehoboam now had to decide if he was going to be nice to the people. What did he do?
Well, at first he didn't know, and so kind of like you, he decided to ask for some advice.
Okay.
It says first he went to some of the older men, some of the older, wiser rulers, and
Like Mr. McKeever.
yeah, probably. And he asked them, what do you think I should do? Should I be kind to these people? And they said to him, if you would serve those people, if you would speak good words to those workers, they will be your servants forever. So those men gave him advice to be gentle, to speak kindly to them, to treat those workers nicely. And they said, then they will recognize you as king and they will serve under you forever. But then Rehoboam, he asked some of his friends. It says some of the young men that he grew up with. And he said, what do you think I should do? And those young men said, your dad, Solomon, gave them a lot of heavy labor. Your dad, Solomon, disciplined those people with whips. And they told Rehoboam, you should be even harsher. You should add to their labor. You should discipline them not with whips, but with scorpions. Who do you think Rehoboam listened to?
I don't know. I hope he listened to the nice older gentleman, but what did he do?
I'm sorry, this is not a very happy story. King Rehoboam decided to listen to those younger men. So 3 days later, when Jeroboam and all those workers came back, and they said, what did you decide to do? He said to them, I'm going to add to your labor. My father disciplined you with whips. I'm going to discipline you with scorpions. And so Rehoboam tried to do this. He tried to send out people to force them into that hard labor, and they actually ended up killing those people. And Rehoboam faced such an insurrection that Rehoboam had to leave. He had to leave all of his people who would have served him. He had to flee to somewhere else. And at first Rehoboam wanted to fight back. He wanted to force them by force to do that heavy labor. And so he got all sorts of soldiers, he got all sorts of warriors. But then God spoke through a man named Shemaiah, and Shemaiah said to Rehoboam, the Lord does not want you to fight against your people. And this time Rehoboam listened, but it was too late. He listened and he did not go with his army and fight them, but those people were not ready to follow them. Jeroboam and all of those workers were really, really mad at Rehoboam, and Jeroboam wanted the people to follow him, and he was worried that if he was godly and if he followed God, that eventually the people would want to restore Rehoboam as king. And so you know what Jeroboam did? Instead of having the people worship God, he made statues, some golden statues, and he told the people to worship them. And it says in 1 Kings 12 that this became a sin, and people went far away to get before those golden statues and to worship them instead of God. All right, we see here in this story that actions have consequences. Rehoboam decided not to be gentle, and that really affected his life. He wasn't king. He had to leave. He had to flee, and there was a lot of people who were really, really angry at him. I'm sure he regretted that decision for not following the good advice of the people. And we also see that it had consequences in other people's lives. Because Rehoboam was so willing to be harsh and not gentle, this led to Jeroboam leading the people astray, leading the people to worship idols instead of worshiping God. we need to be careful with our actions because we can lead to bad consequences for ourselves and we can lead other people into sin.
Does that mean I'm going to be consequenced for some of the nice things I did to you earlier? I mean, remember my nice letter? It's so loving.
It is loving, Aaron. Thank you for that letter. And you know what? Good thing we had that lesson on forgiveness last week. I don't want to seek revenge on you for spraying me with water, right? I want to forgive you and hopefully lead you to grow, right, in gentleness, and it will help me grow in gentleness as well. This week, I want to challenge you. I want to challenge us to really think about who we are listening to. Are we listening to people who are leading us toward God and teaching us about godly things? Or are we listening to our own sinful hearts? Are we listening to people who lead us away from God? This week, I pray that we would be led to grow in Him and grow in the Spirit.
Hey, so that's great. Was it now we can do Play-Doh time?
Well, sure, but first, will you tell me who gave you that advice to spray me with water? I would like to talk to that person.
I ain't no
Forgive
rat.
them.
I ain't no rat, but I will say I think it was Bill McKeever. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go play now.
Have fun.